We live in a world where most run after external validation, desperately trying to please everyone. But does this really make us valuable? The big names in history never worried about being chosen, they became the choice. This is the difference between being a luxury and just one more option. Stoicism teaches that true power comes from within self-confidence, discipline, and presence. When you know your value, you don't put yourself in promotion. You don't have to scream to be noticed, just exist authentically and selectively. Who understands this becomes unforgettable. In this guide, you will find out how to assume this unique and fascinating posture, applying timeless principles that shape leaders, icons, and influential personalities. From the power to say no to the importance of your presence, every detail counts. If you have already devalued or unmovable, know that it can change now. You were not born to be an alternative. You were born to be exclusive. Are we going together to transform your presence and influence? Many people confuse impact with exaggeration. They think they need to scream to be heard or stand out at any cost. But the truth is that the one who really leaves their mark in the world is not the one who makes the most noise, but who remains faithful to its essence. Authenticity is a powerful magnet when you align with your values and express them with confidence. Respect and admiration naturally come. The key to being memorable is coherence. It is no use designing an image that does not match your actions. Stoicism teaches that character is worth more than any passing appearance. Have you noticed that the most fascinating people are those who don't try to impress? They are simply, and it is this naturalness that creates a lasting impact. If you want to leave a mark, ask yourself what makes me unique. Instead of copying trends or following what is on the rise, find what makes you stand out genuinely. Perhaps it is your way of thinking, your energy, or how it is expressed. Be selective with the way it presents itself to the world. Less is more as long as it has substance. Great leaders do not worry about being noticed, but to be remembered. You don't have to be the most extravagant in the room. Just be the most authentic. Your presence should have a weight that is made effortlessly. And for that, there is no shortcut. You need to know yourself, respect your principles, and act safely. The best way to start? Practice the strategic silence. Before you speak or act, ask yourself if this is aligned with who you really are. The more selective you go with your words and actions, the more impact they will have. Want to be remembered? Do not try to draw attention. Make it worthwhile when they talk about you. We live in an era of superficiality, where many prefer to look good than to actually be someone of value. But the Stoics saw beyond passing vanity. True power is in character, authenticity, and personal discipline. When you build a solid base internally, your presence becomes unbeatable, regardless of appearances. The great men of history were not remembered by what they wore or by what they were sporting, but by the firmness of their principles. Marco Aurelio, for example, ruled the largest empire in the world, but would rather lead a simple and disciplined life. He knew that status and wealth do not define anyone, just character does that. Ask yourself, are you investing in your essence or just your packaging? Being stoic does not mean neglecting the appearance, but to use it as a reflection of its authenticity. Dress well, but not to impress, but to represent who you are. Take care of your image, but without depending on it for your self-confidence. A man of value enters any environment and makes others feel his presence without having to say a word. Authenticity is a rare luxury. In the midst of so many people trying to fit in, those who remain faithful to their own principles become unforgettable. This requires courage, saying no to what does not match you, not to give in to the pressure of following empty fashions, and, above all, always act with integrity. Do you want to be admired? So be someone who doesn't sell for crumbs. True elegance is in your posture, not in your clothes. True respect comes from your character, not from your bank balance. And the true influence is not what you have, but who you become. The world is already full of appearances. What is missing are people who really make a difference. Are you ready to be one of them? Most people believe that the more available and more accessible, the more they will be valued. Fatal error. What is abundant loses value, and what is rare becomes desired. If you want to be perceived as a high-level someone, you need to learn to be selective both with your relationships and your choices. Stoicism teaches that we should protect our energy and invest only in what really matters. If you are always available to everyone, it means that your time has no filter. And if your time has no filter, why would anyone value him? Great leaders and impact people know that saying no is one of the biggest signs of power. Think of the most exclusive restaurants in the world. They don't have a queue because they want to be difficult, but because they know their own value. Now compare this with that always open corner fast food. Which one arouses the most desire? Which one is treated like a luxury? Do you want to be a luxury or just another shelf option? Be selective also in your relationships. Not everyone deserves unrestricted access to you. Analyze, do the people around you raise your level or just suck your energy? Always being surrounded by any company just to avoid being alone is the way for mediocrity. Stoics teach us that well-enjoyed loneliness is much more valuable than bad company. Being selective is not arrogance, it's strategy. Your time, your energy, and your attention are your most precious goods. Who distributes them without discretion becomes disposable. Those who learn to use them intelligently becomes unforgettable. So the question that remains is, are you willing to be rare enough to be valued? Many people spend their lives waiting for the validation of others to finally take their brightness. But those who understand their own value does not ask for permission to be grand. Stoics teach us that true confidence does not come from external applause, but from the internal conviction that we are enough just as we are. The difference between confidence and arrogance is intended. The arrogant shouts its importance because, deep down, he doesn't believe her. The confident, on the other hand, need not prove anything, he is just. Have you ever realized that the most magnetic people are those who have unshakable calm? They don't need validation because they know their presence already says it all. If you depend on the opinion of others to feel that you have value, you are delivering your power to the wrong hands. Learn from Stoics. Self-confidence comes from discipline, knowledge, and experience, not likes or compliments. Instead of seeking approval, focus on becoming someone worthy of admiration. When you do this, approval becomes irrelevant. Shining without asking permission means entering any environment with the certainty that you deserve to be there. This is reflected in your posture, your gaze, and the way you express yourself. Confident people do not lower their heads, do not apologize for being who they are, and do not beg for acceptance. They attract naturally because they are security magnets. So the question is not if you can shine, but if you are willing to stop hiding your light. The world is already full of people who decrease to fit in small spaces. You were born to occupy your own space with greatness. The only question left is, when will you decide if you allow this? Even before saying a word, his presence has communicated something. Your posture, your look, the way you occupy space all conveys powerful messages about who you are. Stoics knew that the body reflects the mind, and that a man who controls his energy and posture also controls the perception that others have from him. Think of a person who enters a low-headed environment, fallen shoulders, lost look. Now imagine someone who walks firmly, looks in the eye, and positions himself safely. Who would you respect more? Body language speaks louder than any discourse, which is why mastering its presence is one of the secrets of true power. Great leaders and influential people do not stand out because they speak louder, but because they exude confidence. This does not mean being arrogant or aggressive, but is convinced that you deserve to be where you are. If you want to be seen as valuable someone, you need to carry this certainty in your body. A simple trick to strengthen your presence is to use the power posture. Before you enter anywhere, adjust your shoulders back, keep your head up, and take a deep breath. This small change can completely transform the way people perceive you. Respect begins with what you transmit before you even open your mouth. Want to be taken seriously? Adjust your presence. Want to be noted without effort? Design confidence before saying any word. Want to be remembered? Make your energy felt when you get into an environment, not just when you get out of it. Your presence can be your greatest weakness or your greatest weapon. The choice is yours. If you accept everything, you put yourself in anyone's position. And whoever is anyone will never be seen as a luxury. Stoics understood that true strength is not pleasing everyone, but in knowing what their energy deserves and what it does not deserve. Saying no is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. Limited people are easy to explore. They are always available, always giving in, always accepting less than they deserve. The problem? What is easy to have is never valued. When you learn to set limits, it automatically becomes more respected. Your time has value because you protect you. Saying no does not mean being rude, but being clear about what it adds to your life and what just consumes your energy. If something is not aligned with your principles, if you do not add value, or if you just drain your peace, you have the right and the duty to refuse. After all, if you do not define your own limits, the world will do it for you. Think about luxury brands. They are not available to anyone. They do not make promotions, do not beg for attention, and do not lower their standards to please. They exist at their own level, and anyone who wants to access them needs to be up to. You should act the same way. Starting today, take a test before you say yes for anything. Ask yourself if that really is worth your time and your energy. If not, have the courage to refuse without guilt. Because when you learn to say no to what you don't add, you are automatically saying yes to a more valuable and exclusive life. If everything has a price, which is too cheap, goes unnoticed. The same is true of people. Those who are always available, always accessible, and always ready to fulfill any order ends up being seen as common. The luxury is in scarcity, and its value depends on how you position yourself. The scarcity generates desire. Have you noticed that the most coveted things in the world are those that are not available to anyone? From luxury products to exclusive experiences, which is difficult to obtain, becomes automatically more valuable. Now, reflect, are you behaving like rare or a cheap and abundant option? Stoics taught that we should protect our time and energy as precious goods. If you are always available to anyone at any time, you are communicating that your time has no value. Great leaders and influential people know this and impose strategic barriers not by arrogance, but because they understand that their energy is a limited resource. Always being present for everyone is the fastest way to become invisible. If you want to be respected, you need to learn to withdraw. Do not respond immediately, do not accept invitations just for education, and do not allow anyone to have unrestricted access to you. Remember, the mystery is a powerful tool. From today, deal with something valuable. Set limits, protect your time, and select better where and with whom you invest your energy. What is always available is never coveted, but what remains selective and inaccessible becomes a desire. Do you want to be a necessity or just another option on the shelf? If you deliver it all at once, lose your grace. What keeps people intrigued and fascinated is the feeling that there is always more to find out. Stoics understood that moderation in words and actions created an air of mystery and respect. It is not about hiding who you are, but not to expose yourself completely without discretion. People who speak too much, explain too much, and prove to be overly predictable lose their magnetism. Have you noticed that the most striking personalities always leave a little doubt in the air. They do not deliver all answers immediately. This arouses curiosity, creates expectation, and makes others want to get closer to find out more. The secret is in balance. Share enough to generate connection, but never enough to lose the mystery. In a world where everyone posts their lives without filter, being selective with what you reveal makes it automatically more interesting. Maintaining a touch of unpredictability makes your presence always engaging and memorable. Apply this in your daily life. Avoid exposing your plans ahead of time. Do not reveal everything about you in a single conversation, and learn to dose your words. Mysterious people attract attention because they arouse the imagination. They leave subtle tracks that instigate others to want to know more. Desire and value are in what is not completely accessible. If you surrender without strategy, you lose your impact. The art of mystery is not about driving people away, but about making them want to get even closer. So tell me, do you prefer to be a predictable page or a book that no one can drop? If you don't invest in yourself, are you waiting for the world to do it for you? Spoiler, this won't happen. What differentiates extraordinary people from the common mass is the constant search for evolution. Stoicism teaches that the greatest heritage we have is what we carry within us: our knowledge, skills, and character. Think of anyone you admire. Leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, everyone has something in common: they never stop growing. While most are content with the basics, those who become memorable are always expanding their horizons. Want to be different? Do more than the average is willing to do. Invest in your mind as much as you invest in your appearance. Read books that challenge your worldview. Learn skills that expand your value. Develop a presence that imposes respect. Do you want to be taken seriously? So deal with seriousness first. Impact people don't expect opportunities, they prepare for when they arrive. Great personalities are never content with what they already know. They understand that each new learning puts them at a higher level. Napoleon Hill, author of Who Thinks and Riches, said success is the result of continuous mental growth. What are you doing today to become more valuable tomorrow? Be selective with what they consume, with the people of those who absorb influences, and the time it dedicates to their growth. Because in the end, your value will not be measured for what you have, but by whom you have become. So the question is, what are you doing today to become unforgettable? Tell me who you walk with, and I will tell you who you are. It may seem cliché, but it is one of the most relentless truths in life. The people around them directly influence their mentality, their choices, and, consequently, their future. Stoics advocated the importance of wisely selecting those with whom we share our time and energy. If you surround yourself with negative people, without ambition and without discipline, no matter how strong you are, sooner or later, this energy will contaminate your mindset. Now imagine being with individuals who think big, seek evolution, and raise their pattern. Growth becomes inevitable. You are a reflection of your environment. Great leaders and impact people are selective with their circles. It does not mean arrogance, but to understand that friendships and relationships are not about quantity, but about quality. Who surrounds you motivates you or distracts you, challenges you or accommodates you. You need people who add, not that way. A good way to filter your connections is to observe the conversations you have. If dialogues are empty, always focused on complaints and gossip, it doesn't take you forward. On the other hand, when you connect with people who talk about ideas, growth, and possibilities, your mindset expands. The choice is yours. The energy you attract is the result of the energy you emanate in the middle you choose. So be intentional with who is by your side, because no one builds an empire surrounded by people who do not believe in greatness. Is your current circle elevating you or pulling you down? You may not have a second chance to have a lasting impact. The first impression you transmit can define how it will be treated from there. Stoics understood that the presence, posture, and energy you carry speak louder than any word. And in an accelerated world, where we judge everything in seconds, knowing how to introduce yourself makes all the difference. But beware, impressing does not mean trying to please. Magnetic people do not seek approval, they make themselves naturally. This is because they convey authenticity, confidence, and presence. When you get into a safe environment without having to prove anything, people feel your energy even before you open your mouth. Your posture tells the story before the words. A firm hand grip, a straightforward look, and a confident presence are much more impactful than a rehearsed speech. Want to make a good impression? Enter the places as if you belong to them. Avoid insecure gestures. Don't look at your phone to escape the environment. Be present and aware of your value. Authenticity is also an essential factor. Many try to look like something they are not, thinking that it will make them more interesting. But nothing fascinates more than genuine someone. People feel when there is truth in their presence. And when you combine authenticity with confidence, it is impossible to ignore. The first impression can open doors or close them forever. Want to be seen as someone of value? Take care of your body language, your energy, and your presence. Because, in the end, it's not about how you dress or what you say, it's about the impact your presence leaves on others. In a world where many try to copy ready-made successful formulas, those who really shine are those who dare to be authentic. Stoics knew that trying to imitate others makes us just one piece on the board, but leading with authenticity turns us into reference. The secret is not in being like someone, but in becoming the best version of yourself. When you copy, it's always a step back. But when you create your own identity, it becomes an original, not a cheap copy. This does not mean ignoring good references, means learning from them without losing their essence. Great leaders are inspiring because they show the world who they really are, and this creates a genuine connection with the people around them. True influence does not come from following trends, but of establishing standards. When you trust your vision and have the courage to be different, naturally attracts those who identify with your energy. The world is already full of followers. What is missing are people who know how to lead authenticity. Are you ready to take this position? Think of the names that mark the story. None of them tried to be a copy of someone. They stood out because they had something unique to offer. Do you want to be remembered? So stop trying to fit in and start building your own identity. Respect and admiration come when you become a reference, not when it only reproduces what already exists. The choice is in your hands to follow the path already treaded or create one that is yours alone. If you want to be a luxury, not just an option, you need to stop adapting to what is already there and start being the exception. After all, in the game of life, it is the originals that leave their mark, never the imitators. Knowing your value, taking care of your presence, being selective, and investing in yourself, all this transforms you into someone rare and unforgettable. But knowledge without action is just a concept lost in time. True change happens when you decide to apply these principles in your daily life. So think, what can you start doing today to become a luxury, not just an option? Perhaps it is to impose more limits, be more confident, improve your posture, or surround yourself with people who raise your level. The answer is within you, but the decision to act is yours alone. Stoicism teaches that we should not wait for the validation of others to shine. The world respects those who respect itself and admire those who position themselves with authority and authenticity. Do you want to be taken seriously? So start taking seriously the way you introduce yourself to the world. Now, I ask you, will you continue to be just one more in the crowd or take your value? The choice is before you. You already know the way, you just have to take the first step. If this content has made sense to you, subscribe to the channel and enable notifications to not lose any valuable insight. The next level is within your reach, and I'm here to help you get there.